Hello everybody, and welcome to Fit to Read. It's been a while, but it's I, Web Fox, and I am back. So let's start off by looking over Afterlife of Archie, issue 5. I gotta say, so far Afterlife of Archie is doing no wrong. Beautiful artwork, compelling characters, great story, and the undead. Oh, the very undead. Double negative. Oh boy. Anyway, getting some more insight on a bunch of the characters that are surviving, but not necessarily for the better though. Interesting to notice that this issue pretty much starts and ends with the diary of Smithers, the butler to the Veronica's family, with everybody that's left alive all held in one place, and the very assurance that the city is lost. The survivors must somehow either make one last stand or run for the hills. As much as this is a nice picture here, I would prefer the actual normal cover. But as for the issue itself, I must say that it is very well done. I think I like one or two characters sort of backtrack on their character development a bit from the last few issues. But then again, it's a zombie apocalypse going on, everybody's a teenager, and it is assured that 99.9% of everybody's family is dead. Even their dogs. So, I guess a little leeway back on characters is a bit acceptable for now. But this ends the Escape from Riverdale story arc. So, there's your ending there. Can't wait for the next issue though, where we find out what happens to Sabrina, and depending on the covers, what type of horror she is dealing with at the moment. Until then, let's move on to Mega Man issue 38, Dawn of X number 2. This issue starts off with X and his professor that woken him accidentally waking up another robot, the weapons platform of Dr. Wily. Maverick hunters come in to help secure the area, but so far it's like nothing's going to work against this ultimate weapon of destruction. Meanwhile, in the past, Mega Man and a couple other robot masters tried their best to deal with the ultimate weapon of mass destruction, while getting very unhelpful tips from Dr. Wily. And as for Xavier of the Emerald Spear, he is on his little time journey, hopping between issues of past Mega Man comics, even the ones with the crossover of Sonic, till he ends up in the Mega Man X's future and sees the Maverick Hunters failing to fight off the robot platform. Very beautiful artwork, and the story is doing okay. Sort of not a big fan of how this crossover is working out. I mean, the first one was good, but as we see how the story is sort of overlapping, and it's a bad guy who's only appeared in like 3-hour issues, who's the guy who's bridging and everything, I'm just not feeling it. Now, then again, this story arc is going to go on. Just the thing is, it's more like what happened with the Ultimate Star Wars crossover that connected 4 different series from 4 different timelines, where it's not about the main characters, they're just there as this other character hops around. So, with that said, let's just move on to something that's actually going quite well with Sonic the Hedgehog issue 261. And I gotta say, about for this one, I would actually prefer the alternate cover. But meanwhile, let's go to the issue. Sonic and his team of freedom fighters are exploring the underwater city that they never knew was there, and getting acquainted with the very unfriendly king and queen. After accidentally getting the priestess fired from her job, they have to spend the night in the temple again. Unfortunately, with so much drama all around, the shield that protects the city doesn't go up, and the dark Gaia forces swarm to attack. Meanwhile, with Sally and the rest of the freedom fighters, just as they're about to grab the Chaos Emerald, they decide to have a change of heart of how the plan is going to go, from dealing a blow to Dr. Eggman to doing what they can to not destroy everything. I'm not really following how many more parts is in this story arc. There's at least one more. I'm just waiting for the Sonic to transform and we go on with the Sonic Unleashed storyline. And it is interesting to see how Sally and the rest of the Freedom Fighters are going about their own missions and getting those Chaos Emeralds. It's just that this does have some character and world development. It's just, of course, there's not that much action, and I don't know. It's the middle. The middle is what you need to connect the first part and the last part. Speaking about another middle, which I think is done a bit better, we go to Sonic Universe issue 65. In part 3 of the Great Chaos Caper, Knuckles and the Chaotix find Chip, the missing spirit guardian that they're looking for, who also happens to have the Chaos Emerald. Ooh, win-win! If it wasn't for the fact that they're still a little lost in the cave, full of traps, dangers, maybe some ghosts, along with the deadly hooligans who are very willing to do deadly force. And as we find out, the Dark Gaia monsters are around every corner, and they're probably even deadlier. We get some more fight scenes, some more action. Not really character development. Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of insight in Bark, even though, of course, he doesn't say anything, so you just get facial reaction of how Knack talked to him. But then again, Bean, as awesome as he is still very funny, and can't underestimate how dangerous he is. And I just can't wait for the next issue where we see how the Chaotix and Knuckles take on some of the greater Dark Gaia threats that is yet to be seen. And now, we finish off this bit to read with the latest issue of The Walking Dead. It's time for life to move on as Rick and Carl go on their journey to the hilltop for Carl to start his apprenticeship. That's pretty much it. They say some goodbyes and they hit the road, and we get to see how things are run with Rick in charge nowadays. Meanwhile, the new crew in town, they're still fishing around, trying to see what secrets are being hidden around. So, of how this issue ends, it could be either very predictable or they could actually play the characters smart. Which I'm not saying that they haven't been playing them smart, it's just the way that it is. It doesn't look like that these new guys are going to be that smart. So Walking Dead is Walking Dead. I gotta say that they just ended it with the last part of the war, stopped the Walking Dead series, I would have been happy. Thing is, we just had a time jump of months, years, probably years. I don't know. So it's kind of interesting to see how things has evolved, and there's still a lot we don't know. It's just, it's a very unsettling ground right now for Walking Dead. And it doesn't help that these new characters that we still don't know anything about, except a few paragraphs of what they said they've been through, we just don't feel that attached to them. And it's like that they're going to be going one direction that's too predictable, unless there's a 180 turn in there, and then they become amazing characters. They'll add a new dynamic or just add more flavor to this comic. So those are the issues that I picked up for now. There's plenty more to come.